seek. What? Oh snap! I didn't know you can do all this. But I can't comment. That's the crazy part. Still loading. Now, how do you play hide and seek on YouTube, bro? What in the world? What is this? It's loading. Ain't no way you can actually play games straight through YouTube on freaking YouTube Live now. That's crazy. It's freaking loading forever, but shoot. Let's see what happens, bro. Apparently 50 something million people played this too. Slow freaking game. Alright, I'm about to let's see what happens. I'm a hide. How about that? Let's see. Uh oh snap. What? Oh, of course dude's gonna go right after me, bruh. Oh, oh crap, 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 crap. Out the way, man. What are you doing? Are people like playing with me while I'm doing this? Nah, bro, you on your own, bro. Oh, is that easy? That's it? That's all you gotta do, bro? This easy, bruh. Oh, these are like levels, bruh. Hold on, I'm gonna be a seeker. I'm about to find everybody, bruh. Bruh, none of y'all can beat me on this freaking game, bruh. Already got two people, bruh. I'm just like this, man. Oh my gosh, dude. I see that. I seen that. Yeah, look at that, bruh. Look. Too easy, bruh. Too easy. Too easy. I can't be beaten, bro. I can't be beaten. It's too easy. It's too freaking easy. Let's go. Let's do it again. I'ma hide. Watch this. I'm not even gonna go nowhere, bro. I'm gonna just sit right here. Too easy, bro. They don't even know where to go, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. I mean, technically, if you stay close to bro, you know. Oh no, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. Oh no, somebody's got the freaking. Oh man, too easy, bro. Too. Yeah, bro. You trying to join the live? I'm not sure if I can. Let me see if I can have people join in here. Let's see. Could have sworn there was a feature where you can do that, but yeah, I'm paying attention to the comics right now. I'm gonna do one more round and I'm gonna start talking, but game cut me kind of hooked. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna seek this time. I'm gonna hide. Yes, too easy. Too easy. It's basically like playing Pac-Man. Basically. Now, oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Too easy, bro. Bet. I'll read them all. All right, let me exit this game, bro. Like, I'm in the car right now. I was like, I decided to just go live on this thing. Give a quick update. So, real quick, I just want to start this off by just saying, if y'all haven't seen my last video, I highly suggest you go watch it because it'll kind of make all this make sense. So, this channel is moving over to the new channel under my main name, Kelton Broadus, okay? And I explained the reason for that and why I decided to create a new channel instead of continue working on this one. It has to do with the algorithm, and it also has to do with my new brand. It has to do with my new business called the Executor Academy. So let me start with the Exocor Academy part of it. Basically, so let me give you guys a whole story of how this whole thing worked out, because this all gets really complex. But I want you guys to fully understand what's going on, and also if you want some tips for some good success, just in whatever you want to do in life, this should help you a lot for that. Really good insights, especially if you are someone who is struggling to find their purpose in life, and someone who's struggling to find a sense of meaning and figure out what God wants you to do in your life. You know, that's what I'm here for right now. So let's go back. Let's go back a couple years ago. So yeah, I'll start with this. So since 2020, I've been in the United States military. I'm gonna start with that because I've been in the military, and I was active duty for 4 years. Okay. At the end of my contract, I ended up getting married and stuff like that, and I ended up leaving active duty, but going into the guard, and now I'm going on 6 to 7 years now. So still, I'm trying to get my 8 years in. But with that being said, when you move from active duty to the guard, a lot of things change in your life. For one, you're obviously not working every single day when you're in the guard. Um, so you have a lot more free time, right? But it also means that if you need to pay the bills and you need to um, make life work, basically, you need a civilian job, right? And to keep a long story short, at least up to a certain point, um, I was basically out of work for a long time, and then I got a pretty good job, and then God ended up closing that door short. But it seemed like no matter where I've been, um, it seemed like no matter where I've been, God has just been closing certain doors and opening others. And I got to a point where um, I really had to dig deep into my situation and in my current circumstances and into my life, and to really dig deep with God. And let me tell you, some I went through some hard stuff, okay? Like, and when I say hard stuff, I went through some hard stuff. From practically being homeless for over a year and a half while married, like that's some hard stuff. And then not only that, but there's other stuff on top of that that gets even more complex. Now, I'm being very open about my situations, my past situation, for a reason. Because it's gonna make all this make sense. So with everything going on, instead of just relying on man to give me an opportunity, I decided to go to God. I said, Jesus, Lord, I want to serve you with my life. I want to do the best I can with the best I have, but Lord, I need your direction. And after just coming to God like that, I've dealt with a series of very troublesome times for a span of a few years, with not but so much support that I probably really needed it in that time. But what I realized after coming out of that time, it got so bad, guys. Let me tell you, it got so bad. Not too long ago, I almost deleted myself. Like, I'm very open right now because I'm telling you it's gonna all make sense. I almost got to the point of deleting myself, and the thing about it is, as a man, a lot of times we try to just tough it out because a lot of people don't understand that men go through stuff like this too. But let alone, I'm not just a man, but I'm also a Christian man. So I have, is somebody flirting in the chat? What is going on in here? Okay, anyways, it's back on topic. So, especially as a Christian man, the disciples were not just raised to be Christian men, they were also raised to be leaders, right? And God gives us the blueprint on how to be leaders and how to be successful and how to build systems so that we don't fall into the traps that I was actively falling in throughout my journey. And the reason why that's so important is because that season of trouble that I was in for a few years taught me a lot about how to just grow up and be that person who can handle success, who can be successful, someone who can create success and not compromise my faith while doing so. I've had many breakthroughs in day trading, in certain ministry efforts, even in my marriage, and even with my life situation. Um, I've learned so much, guys. I've learned so much, and I want to share that because I want to help other people become successful. In fact, not just for the past like 3 or 4 years, but for the past about 10 years. Yeah, 10 years, sort of say, bro, God has been teaching me some lessons that I really needed in some of the hardest ways possible. But I feel like God allowed me to learn my lessons the hard way so that I can help others learn it the easy way. And the reason why is because you cannot. I personally have this belief that if you don't learn things the hard way, then you might not be an effective enough teacher to teach people how to do it the easy way. The reason why is because it's one thing to just know how to handle life and be successful the easy way, and it's another thing to not understand why that way, that easy way, or is so important and so easy. And it's also another thing to know exactly the importance of the journey that it takes to even learn the easy way. You know what I mean? Because, for example, if I coach people on how to start a business or how to day trade the easy way, right? I need to also understand the type of people who would come to me for that type of coaching, who need that type of mentorship. I'm called to help people understand who Jesus is and who they are, help them. It said this. Hold on. I need to check this chat real quick. My bad, guys. Yo, you got folks in here just okay. Anyways, the point is that I learned a lot of crucial lessons that I believe that God has put me in a position where I've taken in so much wisdom that it's now time to provide that value to others. So I've learned how to start businesses. I've learned to day trade and be successful if you want. Let's see if I can post some of my earnings here. I don't know if I can because at the end of the day, I say I've been doing pretty good day trading and starting businesses. I want to show you all my progress. Maybe I'll make a video or something showing that stuff, or somebody asked for it, I'll show them, because ultimately it's a testament to what is possible even when you're in the lowest of low. Like I said, I got so low to the point where I almost wanted to delete myself. You know what I mean? In fact, I attempted to and it failed. And oh my gosh, that's a whole nother video, because what happened in that moment was like, that right there was a let's just say it was a miracle. It was a miracle. I should not be here today, but I am here. I truly believe that God preserved my life for a reason. And then I started to think, like, why would God preserve my life in that such a way when I feel like my life is worthless? And for a period of time, I kept going back and forth, like, what's the point of my life, and what's this, and everything, that every single time I try to do something, something fails, and this, that, and the other. And my mindset was just so horrible. My mindset was so bad and so evil and so, let's just be honest, demonic and unchrist-like. And the thing about it is, it took me a while to realize is that that mindset is exactly what was stopping me from being successful, right? That same mindset was stopping me from being a good day trader until later on, right? I've been trading since 2021, and I didn't start actually being profitable until late last year, because of my mindset. I had a victim mentality. I had I had a victim mentality, I had a failure mentality. And since I had a victim and failure based mentality, I kept being a victim and I kept being a failure. But then when I decided to open up that Bible and to get a mentor that actually understood what I was going through and understood what it was like to be in my position, guess what I did? I started applying the Word of God and the instructions that the mentors were giving me, and it worked. I started getting making hella money day trading. I started getting so encouraged. I had a sense of purpose. And long term story short, I got to the standstill with the YouTube channel because this YouTube channel was grown to over 2,000 subscribers in a short period of time, and then at some point I couldn't be super active, especially with the military life. Um, and over time, I kept having a few weeks here and there where I'll be active, and then a few weeks where I'm not, and then posting content here, posting content there, and over that period of time, what ended up happening was is YouTube just didn't know what to do with me. And obviously, if you go through my channel right now, everything up to a certain point just kind of had a random direction. Same message, technically, same faith-based content, but at the same time, I didn't have a niche and I clearly didn't have an outline purpose of what my channel was about and what God was calling me to do. So at the end of the day, I was just a regular content creator with over 2,000 subscribers. My channel didn't have a real meaning or real call to action or real purpose to give direct, purposeful value that was bigger than just me sharing encouragement or motivation online. And that's what I needed. I needed to do that. I needed to be fruitful and multiply. So here we get the next part of this journey, right? Here we get to the next thing, right? So what ends up happening is so what ends up happening, and to keep me from rambling too much, let me, because this does help me. So basically, what ends up happening is I start thinking about all my experiences and all my current assets, everything that God has laid out right in front of my face, right? I start thinking about the things, my bad. I start thinking about the things that my mind and in my circumstances and in my immediate surroundings. And I began to focus on not trying to see my circumstances as a burden, but an open opportunity to be something greater. And because of that, because of that, I decided to focus more on the potential where I could go rather than where I am. And I started paying more attention about what God gave me rather than what I did not have. Because what that did is that allowed me to basically become more than what I ever thought I'd be. It started producing fruit in my life that caused me to actually see real tangible success. It started showing me that everything I really need to be successful in the way that I keep praying to God and begging Him for is right there in the Bible. In fact, one of the first commands that God gave to man was be fruitful and multiply. But what did God tell Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply with? He told them to be fruitful and multiply with what they had in their immediate environment, with what God gave them. So at that time, God didn't give me a job. Trust me, two staffing agencies, all these different government benefit programs, veteran programs, everything, and not a single call. Nothing. Not even hand-me-down gas stations, fast food, nothing. God closed the door. So then I started looking in my immediate environment and I learned gratitude. That's one thing I learned. I learned gratitude. I learned to stop seeing my situation as a burden, but as a place where God has me and a place where opportunities can come from. I started looking around my house, finding things that I could sell, finding things that I could capitalize on. Okay, I got DJ gear here. I have experience in music. I've gone through this whole experience. I've overcome a offing attempt. I have overcome so many different trials and tribulations. I have an online ministry. There's just so many things that I have access to and things that are right in front of me. So many lessons, so many valuable lessons that I've learned in the hardship of life. And through that time, um, through that time of hardship, I've learned so many crucial lessons. On top of that, I have a published book. I release music on a regular basis. I have so many assets and so many channels of leverage that I can use to not only live for God, but also provide for my family and just be successful and stop having and actually live a life of purpose. So after looking through everything, I figured, one of the thing, somebody asked me a good question. They were like, when it comes to your purpose, like, what is that one thing that makes you get out of your bed at night, like in the morning? What's that one thing that you've done throughout your life that has just always put the biggest smile on your face, that just made you feel like you had a huge sense of purpose? Like, where did you get that sense of significant meaning? You know what I mean? And one thing that has satisfied me most in life to this day has been the times where I would get emails from people from this channel, get emails from people crying, telling me how, like, voice audio, literally, there, or my early days of starting this channel, I would literally get audio recordings in my email from people crying, telling me how much the content that I'm putting out is helping them. Those were some of those satisfying moments, and it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because people were looking at me as this person they're benefiting from. It wasn't because, and it had nothing to do with pride. It wasn't because, oh yeah, I feel good about myself, folks emailing me telling me how good the content's helping them and so. No, the reason why it just made me so joyful was because i understood I understood the person. When they told me their hardships and the things that we're going through, I understood it. And watching how, talking about my personal experiences and the lessons I've been learning from God, seeing how that has helped someone during times of depression, or seeing how that has helped someone when they were down and wanted to give up on life, and seeing them come out of it, like following them on social media and seeing them come out of the darkness into the marvelous light, and seeing how something as, and like, I'm gonna be honest, across this particular channel, the quality is not that bad, but just seeing that the effort that I was putting in was actually making sense to people, resonating with them and changing their life, that gave me more that gave me more hope and joy than almost anything else I've ever put my mind to besides Jesus alone. Because at the end of the day, what matters most to me is that in everything I'm doing, I'm providing value first more than anything, right? And not only I'm providing value, but then I'm also doing it in a way that glorifies God. So I look into those things and I look through all my expenses and all my assets, everything that is right in front of my face. And after looking all through that, I'm like, why not? Why don't I just become a coach? Because think about this, people need a sense of purpose. And not only people need a sense of purpose, but people also need to understand just how valuable they are and just how meaningful they are to God. They must be. And not only that, People also don't feel like their life is has a purpose, or is they don't feel like they have a fulfilling life because they feel like they have a purpose but they don't know it. But then even after they feel like they have a purpose, they don't know how to implement that and they actually make things move and make things happen in their life. They get to a point where they finally become, but then they don't know how to be fruitful. And then you also have a third group of people who have become and have started to be fruitful. They started to build, but then they don't know how to multiply. They don't know how to do the very things that God told us to do. One of the first things He told us to do, which is Yo, my bad, guys. So I'm back in the house right now, just chilling. My phone died midstream, bruh. My phone died midstream. So what I might do, basically, so I'm just gonna just let y'all know that last statement I was gonna close out with, but uh, I'm probably gonna go live again to explain things a little further. Hey, somebody in here was talking about my bad. Somebody said what happened with the thing? Like, bro, y'all were like flirting in here. What the heck is going on in the stream? Y'all ain't here flirting, talking about what happened to the show. Y'all are not interested in anything what was going on this video. All right, so if anybody from that group, that initial group was in here, just know the stream went black because for one, hold up. Why is the lighting like so horrible? It is not that bright in here. Don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna get a haircut. Basically, honestly, I don't even think that group is in here, so I'm not gonna explain it. Basically, after all those hardships I was going through, uh, basically I got to a point where I developed a system that allowed me to be successful and get out of that depressive, horrible mindset that I was in, and actually start seeing a sense of purpose, right? I developed a system called be fruitful and multiply. Yes, one of the first commandments given to man by God, be fruitful and multiply. First, in order to be successful, you must be. And then when you have that foundation in Christ, being who you are meant to be, having that sense of purpose, knowing your whys, knowing who you are, things like that, knowing who God has made you to be, etc., etc. And finding that passion that God has put in your life, understanding your assets, understanding what you have at disposal, seeing your situation not as a burden, but as an opportunity. Once you have that locked down, then you be fruitful. Then you build the brand. Then you build the ministry or whatever you're trying to build, the business, whatever it is. You build on that foundation using the assets and the things that are right in front of you, the things that God put right in front of you. And then once you've built that foundation and then you built upon that foundation, then you scale what you've built upon that foundation at the end, and that's multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. And that is the very framework that I use in my personal mentorship in the Exakura Academy. And I talk about this in my latest YouTube video on this particular channel that explains why I decided to move from this channel to the next channel. And ultimately, me moving to a new channel, the Kelton Broadus channel, ultimately boils down to this. It's a simple fact that everything on this channel, this current channel, was built upon the old mindset that I had. Not that it wasn't good content, not that, my bad, not that the content wasn't valuable, but it was just because I was young and it was just before I went through the transformation that I went through over the past 10 years. And, or before finishing the transformation that I've had over the past 10 years. And I will always be transforming, but there's been a significant shift in the last decade that changes the dynamic of what I should be doing and where I should be going a lot. Let's just say that. So I created a new channel, Kelton Broadus, that is built upon the new mindset, about the new brand around the Exakura Academy and what God has taught me, and the new service that I'm going to be providing from here on out. That's because I first became, I learned the lessons, I went through the dirt and saw what was right in front of me, and I built upon that. That's what the Kelton Broadus brand. I decided to use my real name instead of using, KJ Broadus, even though that is technically my name, just my initials. I just decided to just use my first and last name and just build upon who God made me to be. My name is Kelton Broadus. That's who God made me be. So when I'm teaching people to be successful, that's me. When I'm teaching people how to live a life of purpose, that's because of the testimony that God gave me. You know what I mean? The things that God brought me through. So I just use my name, and I'm building everything in terms of content around this new, or really already acquired identity in God, but one that I've been rejecting. I'm building it on that foundation, on a solid foundation. Um, to help other people who were in the same situations as me, to help people with the same trials, the same, lack of the sense of their purpose and things like that. I want to provide that same service to other people. So that is what I do with the new channel. So let me take a moment real quick and see. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Okay. There's no like filter or anything like that can fix the lighting in here, bro. Because it is not this. Trust me, guys. I'm gonna say this right now. It's not this light in this room. It's not this bright in here. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely not this bright in this doggone room. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it is, guys. I'm in this video because after the stream went dead, I think everybody thought the stream like glitched and went off. So, and I can't put anything in the chat either, which is kind of weird. I might need to log in on a different device and do it, but I'm not gonna deal with all that right now. It's supposed to be uh, a quick video, a quick update. That's all this was supposed to be. So that's what it is. So if you even got to this point, go ahead and drop a comment to let me know that you even got to this point in a live stream, because you were a real one for skipping to the end just to see if there was anything left after the stream went out for like 5 minutes. But thank you for watching. I hope you guys understand what's going on. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the new channel. It should be in my latest videos description. So just, yeah, watch the other video because it's going to talk about what I've been talking about a little bit deeper, and then click the link in that description. It'll bring you to the new channel. Thank you guys so much. All right.